Good evening and welcome to the POSTCAST. Game 82 is going to matter after the Utah Jazz pull off the win tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I am getting the drop in my ear. If there's any way that can be rectified, only because there's a screaming little 5-year-old. It seemed maybe 7-year-old that was right there. Well, Ron, the Jazz fell behind 2-0 and probably went on a 16-0 run tonight. I was very concerned when this night started that the Jazz were going to have a hard time staying focused, that they're going to be beaten down a little bit by the Lakers' continual wins. I couldn't have been more off. They came out, they really initiated, and then when they had offensive struggles, they played very good defense tonight.
Yeah, and I felt the same way, but mine was a little bit different than yours because of the way they played, that Minnesota Timberwolves played the Jazz in Salt Lake City. Then I watched them play the Phoenix Suns, and I thought that they were playing hard, and I thought that they were getting the job done. I expected a better basketball game from them against the Jazz tonight. That, for the most part, didn't happen.
The game, to me, shows a little bit of the kind of resiliency this team has built up on the road. Minnesota shorthanded without Pekovic, but frankly, we've lost some games to teams that were similar to this along the way this year. You know, they struggled in the second quarter for a little while. Barea got going, and then by the end of the second quarter, you look down, and it was a 23-23 quarter. They struggled a little bit. They shot 6 of 15 in the third quarter, and by the time you look down, they were up 11 as they headed to the fourth. Those are not things they were doing earlier this year.
Well, it's definitely not, but and you're talking about the Jazz, right?
Yes.
And it's definitely not, but you put yourself in that survivor mode, and they've been able to dig themselves out of some holes this year. And you know, you have to give your hat off to this basketball team, knowing the situation and being able to pull through it. True enough, one more basketball game, probably the biggest of the year.
How fun.
They put themselves in this, and we're going to have fun with it.
Ron, you are the one guy who goes to shoot around and is able to see shoot around and get the game. You really were jumped out early in this ballgame. You said, wow, they're really executing the game plan. Take us back to how focused they must have been at shoot around and what you saw them do differently early tonight.
Well, you know, you're playing a team back-to-back, and so back-to-back as far as the Jazz are concerned, even though there's a few days in between. But it was a few plays that they were very concerned with, that they were beaten with, and in Salt Lake City, the Jazz had problems with. So they did focus in on those plays, and they were able to take care of it. And it's kind of fun watching the
Mo Williams coming.
Yeah, watching everything develop.
So let me interrupt you.
The way they worked at it this morning.
Let me interrupt you. We'll now pot back up the station, communicate with the station. We'll leave it going here on the POSTCAST. Mo Williams, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Travis back at the studio, can you hear me? I don't have the studio in my ear right now. Can you give me the studio back in my ear? There we go. Travis, you got me? We've got Mo Williams. We'll be joined here in just a second. Tony's doing a scoreboard. We'll be right to you, Mo. Here we go. Thank you, Mo Williams. 15 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals. And Mo, we were just talking about the resiliency that you guys seem to have grown. At times tonight, things didn't go well, but yet every time you look down, you still stretched out your lead a little bit. What's different about this team right now?
We just want it. We want it. We want to give ourselves an opportunity, and we knew this was a must-win.
Are you feeling that pregame? Is it in conversation with the guys?
No, we know it. We know it. There's nothing we have to talk about. There's nothing we have to turn on. We just got to come out with the mentality is the must-win, and we do that. You know, and we just, we let whatever happens. Our back against the wall, and we know that, and we come out and play as such.
Mo, this is an exciting part of the year because this next basketball game, it's all or, as Charles Barkley said, you win or go home. But the way the Jazz have been able to survive all season long, that's true enough. This is your 45th game of the year, and it's kind of fun watching a team that's been able to survive and dig themselves out of a situation that could be devastating for them.
Well, absolutely. That just shows the resilience. It shows the character this team does have. And you got to understand one thing. We're doing this with a lot of guys that's up as far as being free agents. And for a team to come together and play all as one, where you see other teams in opposition or not in opposition, and I think that speaks a lot about the players on this team.
Well, let me go backwards if you're going to bring that up. We leave Houston. That's got to be the lowest moment of the year, and it really felt like it was over. I mean, I remember just feeling like, well, this has not happened. What changed in the 36 hours from leaving Houston to playing in San Antonio, where this team seemed to come out totally differently?
Well, like I said, the character and the resilience of this team, nobody packed it in. Nobody said that it's over. We knew we had a chance, and we just kept fighting. We just kept fighting. And we got ourselves in a position. We got one game left. We got to go out and we know we got to win that basketball game, and we just got to hope, for the better.
Okay, this is really fun, by the way, from our standpoint. Is this fun for you?
Absolutely. Obviously we hope we was hoping to be able to control it ourselves, but it's definitely fun. We just got to come out and just continue to do what we've been doing these last few weeks, and lay it all on the floor. We'll see what happens after that.
More, I think you guys match up with Memphis, which is your next opponent here on Wednesday. Should be a fun basketball game there. But I think you guys match up with them very, very well, and it's going to be a huge basketball game. So the problems you think that they're going to provide to you guys need to start looking at.
Well, obviously the problem we're going to face is the problems every other team face when they play them. On their good defensive team, they play inside out just like we do. We just got to, neutralize those guys, those big guys down low, get them to shoot a lot of jump shots, which they shoot the less threes in the NBA. If you get them shoot jump shots, that's taking them away from the big guys, and we'll take our chances there.
Sounds like you've looked ahead a little bit already.
Yeah, I just know that team, man. Facing them in the playoffs last year when I was in LA and playing them this year. They're a good basketball team. They're well coached, but it's all about on Wednesday who wants it more. We know they're a good team. We respect them, but at the end of the day, we're fighting for our lives.
Do you have any friends who play for the Rockets?
I got friends everywhere, but they definitely my best friends on Wednesday.
All right, let's go board a plane to Memphis. How about we board a plane Wednesday afternoon with all of us focused on a game taking place in L.A.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, roll Tide.
Thanks
guys.
a lot.
Right.
That's Mo Williams with us. We send it back over to Spence Checkets and Tony Parks. All right, so now we come back to you on the postcast. Mo obviously has clicked in. When Mo first rejoined the team, no surprise, 32 games off, and it derailed us a little bit. What are you noticing about how this team's playing together as a group now?
I was surprised he didn't go to, when you asked him about that Houston game, that he didn't go to the pace of play, because that's what everyone was talking about after that Houston game, including Paul Millsap, who really brought it to everyone's attention that was standing around there, that he thought the pace of play is something that they needed, and that's the way they needed to play, and it was because of Mo Williams. And it took him a while to get back into playing the game, and his teammates, and this is all, these guys were new to him as well, but hopefully that's what it's going to get everyone involved in this game.
Here's a really interesting thing that I caught today, so you'll be surprised to hear this. Over the last 15 games, the Jazz are 28th in the NBA in pace of play.
That's interesting.
So here's what I think it is, Ron. I was trying to figure out what this is. They're finally doing what Ty wanted to be done at the beginning of the year. Play at quick tempo, push. If something's not there, then get into the offense, move the basketball, and if we end up at the left block at that point, that's fine. But let's not get to the left block at 17 on the shot clock and have everybody sit around for the rest of the clock.
Thank you.
And let's probe early with Mo and some other guys and see what we can get. And so we're slower in pace of play right now because I think our possessions are taking longer, if that's possible. We might have been earlier because we were just going to the block and shooting or just pulling up and jacking early. But what we're having now is there's early possessions. Sometimes they're not there, and then they get into a ball movement flow and they swing the ball, and that's why the pace of play is slowing down. But it's not because they're not playing with tempo or playing without pace.
Did we see that? I thought we saw that with Alec Burks tonight, because as you mentioned, he would push the ball up the floor and it was nothing there, then he would pull it back out, and this is when he was at the point guard position. Early in the career, he would not have done that. He'd have went 1-on-4, he went 1-on-3, and end up maybe getting taken out of the ball game, But he's learning it, and Mo touched on something else. He talked about the free agents and how the so many different guys on this team right now, but they're hanging in there. I mean, they're surviving. They're making a season out of this, and they put themselves in a position to make the playoffs here on Wednesday.
I think there's two things that happened out of Houston. Just I'll share my answer. Tyrone Corbin is a large part of one of them, and he will not share the story. But the more I am hearing, Ty Corbin grabbed some attention out of Houston and basically got the message across. have some pride, and there's a lot of season left. And there's way too long left in this season to cash it in. And if it gets tough and you guys just roll over this easily, then everyone in the league's learned what they need to learn about you. If you're that worried about your free agency and you're just going to roll like this, then everyone in the league's learning what they need to learn. And Ty Corbin got their attention, and the group as a whole deserves credit. It's not just the head coach, but the group as a whole. There is a very big moment that took place between Houston and San Antonio, and the people involved don't really want to talk about it because they don't want to give credit to other people, but it's a very important part of this story, and maybe, just maybe, if we win against Memphis and Houston beats the Lakers, we can get someone to tell us that what really took place that day.
Well, they got the message. Whatever was said and whoever said it, the message was loud and clear, it sounds like, and it was just, it's been fun. It's been fun.
All right, Wednesday night. We'll see you there. I'll be all over Twitter and Facebook and everything else the next 24 hours because I'll have more energy and I know what to do with. Game 82, here we go. Lakers, we're still here, baby. We are still here.